Now, I have to say, I am absolutely fuming. Not at the result, not at the performance, but the way we have lost this game. Because I sat here last week and spent a solid 10 minutes complaining about how we set up and how we defend set plays. And we have lost this football match because we have failed to set up correctly, or the instructions on how we should set up defensively from a corner have cost us again. And I'm going to bring it up because I have to bring it up. Here is the ball right here. Obviously, I can't show the clip for legal reasons, but here is the corner for the Declan Rice goal. 96th minute of the match. Corner take is coming in. We're set up in our stupid line again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And right here, completely unmarked, as he was for the entire game, Declan Rice is sitting at the back post. We had a warning in the first half where Rice headed it over the bar. Again, we had a chance from a player on the edge of the box. Earlier on, before this happened, you see here, Fabio Vieira on the edge of the box. That earlier on in the second half, Martinelli had a free from a corner, had the ball on the edge of the box and nearly scored. You go and watch any highlights from this match. Every single corner that Arsenal had, Declan Rice was stood right here, completely unmarked. And like I say, there was a warning in the first half where he headed over. And in the second half, with 2 minutes of injury time to go, he is still unmarked at the back post. And he gets the ball and he puts the ball in the back of the net. And like I said, I'm absolutely fuming. Because I sat here last week, pointed this out and said that this game would be won on set pieces, because both Manchester United and Arsenal have this stupid idea in their head that if you just park a line of players in front of your goalkeeper and leave all of the threats unmarked, as long as you're standing in the right place, the ball will be dealt with. Well, 2 weeks running for Manchester United, the ball into the box has not been dealt with because one of the unmarked players has got the ball and the unmarked player has scored a goal, which has led to Manchester United conceding a goal. Now, obviously, it didn't affect the result last week because we still won against Nottingham Forest. But with 2 minutes to go, you just can't let this happen. And I don't care about the Jesus goal afterwards. You've got to try and push for an equaliser when you're behind. But, the writing was on the wall. I would say 3 or 4 of Arsenal's best chances today came from set pieces because yet again we failed to pick up the man. And it doesn't matter. The rest of the game does not matter because we have failed in that moment. And that moment is the reason we have lost this game. I could sit here and go on about certain decisions, about the offside, about the performance, but ultimately that has cost us the entire game. Because I don't think we actually played particularly badly today. I don't think it was a particularly good game. I thought both teams were far too passive, and I think either team should probably rethink their ambitions for the season if they think that sort of performance is going to get them anywhere near Manchester City, whether or not they think they can get near Manchester City in the first place. But both teams are far, far too passive. The fact that Onana had the most touches in the first half tells you everything about the entire game. Arsenal weren't putting enough pressure on Manchester United, but Manchester United weren't brave enough on the ball to actually create chances themselves. It was just a game of cat and mouse, trying to feel each other out, trying to wait for opportunities. And it was from one of those opportunities that Manchester United scored. Havertz gave the ball away after scuffing an absolute sitter, it has to be said, earlier on. Gives the ball away. Brilliant ball from Eriksen. Good run and shot from Rashford to put Manchester United ahead. At that point, I'm thinking, perfect job. It's a perfect, snatch and grab. Exactly what we were looking for. We defended absolutely immaculately in-game, as it were. Not, away from set pieces. The defensive setup I thought was fantastic. The way that Antony and Wan-Bissaka doubled up. The way that Rashford and Dalot were doubling up. I thought they were doing it brilliantly. I wasn't too happy with the amount of space that Odegaard was getting, and we'll get to that a little bit shortly as well. But in all intents and purposes, the defensive setup was absolutely fantastic, considering how poor we've been away from home and how poor we've been defensively so far this season. Then we go 1-0 up, and everyone just switches off. I just spoke about the doubling up with Wan-Bissaka and Antony. The moment we kick off, Antony doesn't track back for the first time in the game. Wan-Bissaka has to deal with Martinelli and Zinchenko. He goes to Zinchenko. Martinelli has too much space. Ball comes back to Odegaard. Odegaard puts the ball in the net. And this is where I'll talk about my slight criticism again about how we're setting up in midfield defensively. They're just marking areas. Again, Casemiro was just sort of in the middle. He was picking up some passes for Havertz. He was picking up some passes for Odegaard. Eriksen was just sort of floating around and Bruno wasn't really tracking back. So it's no surprise to me that Odegaard was able to get into that position and score a goal because no one was picking him up. Casemiro's been dragged over by the whole Antony not being there thing. So Casemiro's had to come over. Eriksen's had to come over. So the man spare is Martin Odegaard with a simple... I say simple. It was a very good finish from Odegaard, but a player of his quality, it's a simple finish into the far corner. Other than that, not a lot happened. I'm not going to lie. Not really a lot happened. There was the odd chance, like I say, the chance from the corner. There was the chance for Bukayo Saka where he probably should have done better, but by that point, we had Maguire on and Martinez had gone off injured and we were a little bit more looser defensively because of the lack of pace of Harry Maguire. That was a good chance. You had the Garnacho one, I have to admit. I was running around the room celebrating. I was utterly convinced that Garnacho was onside. So feel free to laugh your heads off in the comments as you imagine me running around the room celebrating that Garnacho had got the winner. But correct decision was made. He was offside. And it's unfortunate because we worked that one really, really well. But unfortunately, it was that decision that then lifted Arsenal to the extent that they were unable to pile forward once again. Odegaard again picking up space on the edge of the box. His shot was apparently blocked. I thought at the time it wasn't a corner, but I'm sure they'll clear that up whether or not it wasn't. If it wasn't a corner, then I'm obviously going to be even more fuming. But Odegaard has the shot. It's deflected behind for a corner. Corner comes in, and as we've spoken about, Declan Rice gets the goal. And like I say, I'm not going to complain about the Jesus goal for the third goal. We've piled everyone forward to get an equaliser. We were already 2 minutes over the original 8 minutes anyway, so I'm never going to complain about conceding an extra goal when you're going for a late equaliser. So fair play for Jesus for the turn on Dalot, who quite frankly didn't deserve to be on the losing side today. Diogo Dalot, I thought it was absolutely brilliant. I think he had Bukayo Saka in his pocket for the entire game, but it is what it is. And ultimately, as I've said enough times already, yet again, I'll even bring the image back up. It's this decision right here to put this defensive setup on a corner that has cost Manchester United at least 1 point today. I was convinced someone was going to get a winner. When I saw 8 minutes of added time, I thought someone would get a winner. But for Arsenal to get it in this circumstance is just an embarrassment for Manchester United after all the things I spoke about last week around the FA Cup final, around the Nottingham Forest game, and a few other chances, because this is going to keep happening over and over and over again until they get it in their heads that this is just not how you defend the set play. Not really much else to say, I think. I could make an argument that Saka could have been sent off for a really bad challenge on Bruno Fernandes, but Arsenal fans will make just as strong an argument that Lindelöf should have been sent off for kicking Nketiah in the head. So I don't think I can make that argument. I think the referee had a relatively good game. I just think, like I say, our defensive tactics from a corner have cost us this match. And it's 6 points out of a possible 12. Our away record against the big teams continues to be appalling. We're already 6 points behind City. We're already 4 points behind Tottenham. We're already 4 points behind Liverpool. We're already 3 points behind Arsenal. So, a lot of work still to be done. And the transfer window's now shut. Amrabat's in. I have to say I thought Højlund played well when he came on. I like the look of him. He was really causing the Arsenal defenders problems. He brought Bruno Fernandes into the game. If it wasn't for him, the chance for Garnacho wouldn't have even come in the first place. But, like I say, it could be too much work to catch up already. And with big games on the horizon, we're going to have to start winning them, because any ambitions of even qualifying for the Champions League are already at risk because we've lost to Tottenham and Arsenal away from home. So let me know all your thoughts down in the comments. It's been an interesting game, but again, we've lost it, and that's just the way it is. Thank you very much for watching.